welcome to another up close video. So today's one is looking at a new die set which I think is called just With Love, and it's a verso die that has no edge that says the word love, and then you have 4 different like sub-sentiments that go with it that extend the phrase basically, but you can just use the love by itself, or you can do love is all you need and have that one below it, or you can have love and kisses, you can have love, or you have with love, or you can have sending love, or you could do sending love and kisses, or with love and kisses, or you can also, for this one, here it says is all you need, but you can actually rearrange this, snip off the is, and all you need is love as well. So one of the cards I've done more of like a DL kind of card, and I've done all you need is, and I've put the is over here, love and kisses, to make a really bold like typographic design down a DL kind of card. You might notice that only 3 of these other dies have an outside edge to them, so these dies completely cut your words out for you. And you don't have to just use them in conjunction with these as well. You can actually mix in the sentiment strip dies from Tonic. They work really nicely in conjunction. A lot of the sentiments work well with the extra words from this, so you can have smaller and larger words together. And also any of the other dies that Tonic have done, like the duo sentiments as well. Lots of the words in them will mix in with these as well. And yeah, so 3 of the separate ones, they completely cut out, but they also have the bubble that goes around them, like a lot of the sentiment dies that Tonic do now. They often give you this extra bubble. Just, you might not want to use it, but sometimes on projects you just want to add the sentiment onto vellum so it stands out a little bit more, or if you want to cut this from a solid piece of cardstock, you can then raise the whole fiddly sentiment up without having to cut ridiculously small slithers of tape behind it, or to stack up multiple die cuts. Or you can also use these outside edges to create a shaker window, and then you can stick the word back on top of it, which I'll show you with one of mine as well. And you get the edge with this large one, you get the edge with and kisses, but down here you only get the edge around one of these, because if you notice they're exactly the same shape. I mentioned the duo sentiments earlier. They did this with those. They had like with love and with sympathy, happy birthday, thinking of you, and there was another one as well that I can't remember. But they had the exact same outside bubble, but the word inside was different, but the way they designed them, they fitted exactly the same. So that outside bubble actually does both of those dies as well. And then the main, like, because this is a With Love die set, the main love die doesn't have an outside edge at all, because the idea is that you cut this one into your card and then you add the other sentiments around it, or you could just have love if you wanted to, and you could even snip out the letters for love as well and have them separate on a card if you wanted to. And you get, especially if you use the green mat that comes with the tangerine, you can get this gorgeous like stripy effect on the words as well. Or they're really great for adding your Nouveau drops onto. On a couple of the cards I've done, I've added Nouveau drops onto them. And with these kind of ones that cut into the card, you can do some cool effects with like 3Ding them, adding a shadow behind it and adding one of the like cotton papers behind it, or you can create this into a shaker card, or you can also inlay die cut with it as well, so you can cut it out of one colour, cut it into your like inky background, and then place the other pieces back in it, so you get a flush finish on your card, but the word love is like really defined because of the difference between the colours and stuff as well. You can also doodle on this really nicely too. On 1 or maybe 2 of them, I doodled around the letters to sort of help them stand out a little bit more, but you could just do it for a decoration purpose as well. And they're really decent size as well. All of the width of them will fit on an A6 kind of size of card. I have actually only done one of mine one of the cards that I've done in that small kind of size that I love doing, and the rest I've sort of made a little bit bigger or matted them up onto more of a 5x7 kind of size of card. But they are a really nice, decent size, and like I said before, they go really nicely with the sentiment strips that Tonic have brought out in the past. So there were 4 different releases of the sentiment strip dies. I was using, there's one that says with love, so I was using just the width off of that, and then you can have with love, but you've got a small little width rather than having a big width on there. You know, it takes up double the space if you've got this giant width, but if you just have a small little width, it fits really nicely. You could even bring in like thanks love as well, or sending thanks, or with thanks even, or thanks is all you need maybe. There's loads of different ones that you can mix in together, like always sending love as well maybe, or forever love, or with love from me to you. Loads of different ones. I mean, I'm sure you've probably got some of these in your collection, and there's even the Christmassy kind of ones. You might even be able to bring some of those in as well. You could have winter wishes with love, that would be quite nice. Or with peace, sending jingle bells and kisses or something, or sending blessings and kisses as like quite a nice Christmassy kind of sentiment. Or the other 2 that I was using in my cards that I'll show you is there's one that says sending love, so I just use the sending off that in conjunction with the big love, and there's also hugs and kisses, and I did actually use that in its entirety, and I did sending, hugs and kisses, but you could also do sending and then cut out the little hugs and kisses and use the bigger one as well. So I think these sentiment strips, I've done multiple videos on them. I think I might have done at least three up close videos on all of these sentiment strips, showing you other examples of cards that I've made with them. But I think these are one of the best Tonic sentiment die sets to have invested in, because they seem to be able to mix in with like all of the other sentiments and stuff that they've been bringing out. So that is the die set. It's not too much of an elaborate kind of die set, it is just sentiments really, but you can do some focal element kind of things with them as well. So the cards that I have created are these. I've done 6 of them. So I've got sending hugs and kisses, like I just said that I'd use that whole sentiment strip with it, and I actually used the rose foiled white craft card, and I added on some aquaflows into the background. There's a little bit of glue on there. I added some aquaflows onto the background just to add a sort of a different look to it. It's got sort of like an inky splotch in the background then. And then all I've done is cut the sending and the hugs and kisses from a pink pearlescent card. I think it's called Ballet Pink or Ballerina Pink, and then a white card, and then some vellum as well. Just, I wanted the vellum to sort of soften the background a little bit so the words sort of stood out slightly more, and I just shadowed the white sentiment with the pink one, and finished that off with the rose quartz triangles, just as a really simple kind of way of using the sentiments and mixing and matching them with the sentiment strip dies. Then I've done a couple of shaker cards. I did this one, which, look at those gorgeous Mermaid Parade stars in the background on that. The original background is just aquaflows, 2 of the ones from the Ocean Air collection, the 2 blues from there, just like backwards and forwards, and adding in some aqua shimmer as well. And I've done with, and then the big love cut into the main panel. The little hearts that are here are from one of the journal stamp sets from Tonic, one of their doodly ones. And then I've just layered it onto a piece of paper that I thought went nicely with the colours. And it's quite a full shaker card, this one. But I think the stars really add that gorgeous touch to it. And if you wanted to, you could even bring in a sparkle pen or a sparkly gel pen and add more detail to the main word love if you wanted to. You could outline these, you could doodle in them, and you could also have sending up here if you wanted to rather than with. So you could have sending love, or you could use the little with or sending from the sentiment strips as well. That's that one. And then I did another shaker card, this one using that outside bubble for the sending. So I cut the outside bubble and the word love both from my actual main panel, which I've created with shimmer powders. I used Meteorite Shower in the middle, and then I added Violet Brocade and Blue Blitz as I came out in the background, and I sprayed it with water, obviously, to activate the shimmer powders, and then while it was sopping wet, I sprinkled in a load of salt. So I like to use a mix of rock salt and sea salt because they're different sized granules in them, and then you just leave that to completely dry and you get this really cool crystallized kind of a look. So that's how I created the background for this one, and I literally just cut the bubble out and cut the word love out, and then from the excess of the bubble I cut the word sending so that it completely matches together, and then I've used white in the background behind the shaker so that that sending still stands out, and you've got the blue hearts shaking in there. And then for the love I also used a fine white paint pen just to go around the edge of the word so it stood out really nicely. And I've also done stitching around the sending. Then I've done this one where I have shadowed the word. So this was again a shimmer powder and aquaflow background actually. I used like baked cherry, French wine and Matador red aquaflows along with Catherine wheel shimmer powder. And I left that background to completely dry. Then when it was dry I stamped on a few little hearts using that same doodly stamp set. And then I just cut the word love straight out of this. I also cut the word love from some white card as well, and I just offset that and shadowed it behind. I then added 3D foam to this and put just some red card behind it, so that you get this cool shadowed kind of effect, and you've got the 3D-ness of the word on top of the red background. But again, you could do this kind of shadow effect with a shaker behind it as well, but I just thought I've already made 2 shakers, so I didn't want to do a third one. And then this side as well, I've just added a ripped piece of brown card that I've added Midas touch onto to match the sort of gold that's in the Catherine wheel shimmer powder. But the reason why I actually added this bit is because my background piece wasn't quite long enough to fit inside the wonky stitched rectangles. It was slightly too short, so there was a little bit of a gap, and I was like, oh, that's really annoying that it won't fit. So just adding an accent like that down the side of it, and it, you know, hides the gap, so no one will ever know. Well, you will now because I told you, but you wouldn't have known that that's why I added that there. It was because there was a gap. So that's another really simple kind of card. Then this one is the long kind of DL kind of one, where I've done all you need is love and kisses rather than is all you need, and you would put it after the word love. You can actually just snip the is off of here and put it down here to create a different kind of sentiment as well. And this one, the background was sparkle sprays and mica mists. It was the Oriental Fuchsia mica mist and then the 2 purple sparkle sprays. There's been a more bluey purple and a more pinky purple, and then I also took some dream drops in indigo Eclipse, and I did a swirly sort of design and pressed another piece of card on it and pulled it off to give this kind of swirly pattern in there. And then I also added dream drops over the word love, so it kind of looks like one of those marquee light, like, you know, the things you can get, the lights with the letters with the lights in, I mean. Annoyingly, some of my dream drops came together here, probably because that was over the top of the dream drops that I'd done in the background, so it was a slick surface and they must have just slipped together. But it doesn't look too bad. And then this is where I said about the inlaid die cutting. You can see here that I have actually inlaid the white pieces out from a different die cut into this one, so you have a completely flush finish there, and the only 3D bits, you know, is where you've stuck the sentiments on the top or added the Nouveau drops. So that's that one, showing how you can fiddle with the dies to bring the sentiment more down the card as well. But you could also have just have had with or sending here as well, and that would have, well, it's still made quite a decent size sentiment. Maybe a square card, that would go really nicely on a square card and fill it up nicely. So that's that one. And then the final one, again, I used Dream Drops, this is Dragon Scales, my favourite one, on the letters to make it kind of look like those marquee sort of letters. And I learnt from this one, moving together, to space them out a little bit further. So you can see they're a little bit further spaced apart. And then you can see how I've shadowed the word loves. This is pistachio, and then I've shadowed it with white, and the white I actually cut straight into this white panel that is the front of the card. And then I've used one of the specialty cotton papers behind the aperture as well. And then you can see I've used the little sending from the sentiment strip dies, and I've actually made this one an easel card, so it stands like this. And so it says sending love and kisses, which I thought was a nice little version of the sentiment. And using the little sending means that you can have this in more of a landscape fashion rather than it being kind of a square. I just thought that would work really nicely, and I think it's turned out well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video looking at this With Love sentiment kind of die set. I think they're really great for using up your backgrounds, maybe inky backgrounds. Maybe you've seen some of my videos and given some of my messy inky backgrounds a go, but you're not quite sure how to use them in a card. You can easily just use sentiments like this to finish off your card. Or they would actually be, especially the love, you could add different words above and below it, like just typed out or with a Dymo labeler, and you could do some cool journal page sentiments or quotes and stuff as well. And I think they just make really nice sort of quick and easy cards, which I like to spend a lot of time making my cards because that's the bit that I enjoy about it, but sometimes you do want some really quick kind of cards to create, and I think this is one of those really good die sets that you can use that with. And if you don't like making inky backgrounds, if you've got any patterned cardstock or patterned papers that you want to use up as well, I think these are great to go with that. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video, and I will see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching.